Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, YouTubers. Jerry Diamond, How to Get Out of Babylon. I'm going to try to get through a little bit here, just some stuff as I have a few minutes of time. This is from an article I wrote a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. I spent hours last night listening to and reading more material on why relocate to the Pacific Northwest, the West's darkest hour, the Butler Plan, the Northwest Imperative, the Northwest Migration, come home to the Northwest, etc. Ad infinitum, ad nauseum. That is where the survivalist, preppers, white supremacists, and other folks who do not have the ability to think clearly or strategically are all heading. They may have many good points, concentrating like-minded population bases, etc. However, as dealt with elsewhere, there are long-term strategic reasons for not going there in capital N-O-T letters. I've attempted to reason with several of the major writers and leaders, but their minds all have a peculiarly similar characteristic. They are like steel traps, and they're rusted shut, probably until it may be too late. Some of them even claim to be strategists, but probably cannot even define the term or give any historical examples in business, politics, literature, or military situations, economics, etc. One book is even titled Strategic Relocation, North American Guide to Safe Places, 3rd edition, but does not even deal with strategy, only tactics. Passing strange that. As I've said elsewhere, these folks all have the same mindset, like they're all parroting from the same sheet of music. The problem is the sheet was run through a paper shredder and then pieced back together by an arthritic chimpanzee using Elmer's glue and duct tape. So, I reworked this article. You can note the connection between the U.S. Navy, the ominous and infamous U.S. Navy map. So I'm going to skip that part. 6 reasons why the OzArks are the best bug out location. BOL. You need to have a BOB bug out bag. You need to have a BOV bug out vehicle, and you need to have, and 99% of preppers don't have, is somewhere to go. A bug out location. So one guy in this forum, this was Alt Market, where I met Deb and friend Jack and various people who later moved here. Could you elaborate some on the geography of the OzArk Plateau that you, as well as many others, including Jesse Ventura and John Moore, say is the best bug out location? I'm unclear of the exact area the OzArk Plateau encompasses and why it is considered so perfect. One concern is the many prophecies from Edgar Cayce, and Scallion, that would be Gordon Michael Scallion, and even the U.S. Navy submariners that say the Mississippi River will expand to upwards of 100 miles wide in the coming Earth changes / pole shift / fill in the blank. Fill in the blank. Yeah, no, not pole shift. Whatever. What are the attributes of the area that make it so great as you see it? You've posted a lot of good info here. Thanks, Dust. It was his name was Dust to the Sun. And this is my reply, my circle. Good man draws a circle. Dust, thanks. I'm trying to get as much concentrated, useful information out to as many people as possible so they can use it to speed up their preparations, preparedness, and eliminate wasted time, finance, resources, and lives, none of which we have to spare. To try to answer your question, I will address several areas that relate to the geography of the Ozarks. This, of necessity, will involve topics which are a critical part of the big picture, even though not intrinsically geographical in nature. I refer to the people who live there as a good example. Why are they here? Mountainous territory. The area we are looking at is a mountainous region, the U.S. interior highlands. The Ozarks are part of a larger area. Guess what kind of people have been drawn to inhabit and build their lives, homes, and futures there? Highlanders. And what is the nature of Highlanders? They are typically freedom-loving warriors. That is why they chose to live in the hills. They don't want people messing with them. They want to be left alone. They want to do what they want to do, and they don't need government help. They don't need government interference, and they don't need government, aid, and they don't want government incursions into their life. First, you made good points about Cayce, Scallion, and the U.S. Navy. Now, why the similarity? The first two are strange and diverse sources, both in time and background. Meaning, Edgar Cayce was the sleeping prophet. I would say fairly occult-oriented. Gordon Michael Scallion, same thing. He had a near-death experience, hit on the head. died, came back, and from that time on he had all these really weird visions and dreams, resulting in his, and I just think I found one the other day, my map of his, but I didn't remember I had it. But anyway, and the U.S. Navy map, the three of them are very similar. Okay, why then, the two are different both in time and background, why then does the U.S. Navy map so closely match their ideas? Major Ed Dames developed remote viewing, and the U.S. military gives heed to that. Perhaps that is why. That's just a surmise on my part. Don't know. Maybe the U.S. Navy has remote viewed and seen what they have concluded. Now, the other very likely conjecture is that they understand the geology, because it is the U.S. Navy that I read many, many years ago and finally heard verified, or at least corroborated by a person, that the U.S. Navy submarines have gone under the western part of the United States for hundreds of miles. They know that there's a lot of ocean underneath the crust, which is a cornice. You know, there's California, and it's hanging over the ocean. All right, so, and I'm to cut this short here pretty quick, but fact is, high-level U.S. government officials of every branch, U.S. Special Forces and retired Pentagon officials, have been moving to the Ozarks for decades now. Would it not just make sense that they might know something the rest of us are not clued into? If you look into the training and background of the thousands of people like Jesse Ventura, he was underwater demolition / Navy SEAL before Navy SEALs really existed, and John Moore, you should realize that listening to them might be wiser than listening to businessmen, pastors, and authors who have not been privy to whatever insider info Moore et al. have had access to. There you go.